Do you remember when Michael Jackson first did the moonwalk? Or the day Half-Life was released? Maybe today was the day Flaming Hot Cheetos was made? Well, let's find out what this day in history has for us.
Ooh, Amanda in the chat, you joined us at the right time because this is going to be a good one. This day in history.
This day in history, brought to you by Tick and Professor.
By BBC TV.
Yes.
Premieres something completely different in 1969. 5 Brits and 1 American. Write and start.
And now for something completely different.
Flying Circus.
Welcome to LaunchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 Monty Python TV moments.
We're not going to watch this whole thing because this is somebody else's content.
Yeah, no, we don't need to watch it all.
For this list, we're only
I absolutely love Monty Python. We'll just play the video. Like, who needs her talking?
Yeah, there you go. It's like
here's the interesting question. Can you name these sketches? You know what I mean?
No, I have no idea.
I can only name a couple of them.
Number 10, Upper Class Twit of the Year.
Upper Class Twit of the Year.
That sounds like us.
You mean the lower class
the
twit of the month?
Oh man.
Oh. He was the first to pass, by the way, out of all of them.
Like a kidney stone?
No. I wish it was like a kidney stone. No, he DED'd. He DED'd. He be dead. He be dead.
Oh, yeah. You know,
there's only a few of them left, actually.
And he was probably like 30-something here.
To be quite honest, even if there was no Monty Python, which I'm glad there was, Monty Python gave us one of my favorite directors of all time, Terry Gilliam. Terry Gilliam is like genius upon genius.
I'm right there with you.
For anybody who hasn't seen some of his films, like Brazil, such a wacko film, but so amazing. And then Baron Munchausen, and the list goes on.
The Adventures of Baron Munchausen is amazing. That's one of my favorite movies of all time.
And again, without Monty Python, and I don't think Terry Gilliam is able to make those kind of things. And for anybody who doesn't know, Terry Gilliam was the only American, and he's the one that did all the in-betweens. So all of the fancy drawings and stuff. Fancy drawings. Yep. So Monty Python, wow. We're starting out with a bang. I don't think we can. I think this day in history is over because that's the best one. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it's actually, we got a good one. Steve Jobs, he died in October 5th, which is today in 2011. And if you guys don't know who Steve Jobs is, he's the co-founder of Apple.
Yeah, the history, it's funny because the history of Apple, like, again, I had an issue with Apple because I didn't like Apples. Speaking of which, I have an Apple sitting right there.
You do.
I was a big fan of the Amiga, and Amiga and Apple were competitors. And the thing was that Steve Jobs got fired from Apple, went to Next. Apple almost went belly up. They brought Steve Jobs back to Apple, and during the time that he was at Next, there was a little company. Have you ever heard of this company? It's PIXAR. They're tiny. Have you ever heard of those guys?
No.
He helped create PIXAR. And the head of PIXAR now, his name is Mr. John Lasseter. And I love that dude because he brought Miyazaki films, which, again, tangent to the left. But the reason it's important is that John Lasseter sat Steve Jobs down. Just like, Mr. Jobs. And he told him, it's not about the hardware. It's about what's on it. You want a cut of the action. You want a cut of the movies. You want a cut of the music. Where do you think the Apple Store came from? Where do you think the iPod came from? Like, it wasn't, they could give two craps that the iPod was awesome. They wanted to sell you music, and they sold a lot of it. And then they sold a lot of videos, and they kept selling, and it's the content that made them the most money. And here's the worst part. You don't own any of it.
We don't, no.
You're renting it. Like, you can't, like, if I said, hey, do you have that new Alanis Morissette album that I made up because she's on, have you seen it, by the way? She's on a show these days. Have you seen her?
No.
Alanis Morissette. Yep. She's on a show called Alter Ego.
She's God.
Yes, she is, as a matter of fact.
She's God.
And when she talks, your head explodes. She's on a show called Alter Ego now. She's one of the judges. And the reason I bring her up is because, like, she was a huge megastar, and she was God.
She was. Yep, she's God.
And, wow.
Oh, and Ryan Reynolds has something to do with her. Like, a big something to do with her. Yeah, they were an item. Did you know that?
Ryan Reynolds.
You didn't know that? They were an item.
Oh, they did-dotted. They did-dotted.
They bumped. That's where his.
They dated.
Yeah,
they did-dotted.
They were
friends.
He got.
Got jiggy with it. There we go.
Yes.
Slip in that Will Smith reference.
He showed the Green Lantern.
So, what happened in 1947? 1947.
Harry S. Truman delivered his first presidential speech on TV. And guess what? I dug way down into the bowels of YouTube to deliver you guys this clip.
Dun, 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 dun.
Mr. Vice President, Mr. Chief Justice, fellow citizens, I accept with humility the honor which the American people have conferred upon me. I accept it with a resolve to do all that I can.
Why do I really wish, like, the Lollipop Guild from Wizard of Oz comes out? Like, we represent the Lollipop Guild.
We have close enough.
I need the help and the prayers of every one of you.
All right, we're good. We're good. Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah,
that is funny on every level.
Mr. President. Mr.
President.
We face our...
And did you know?
I did not.
In 1930, a airship crashed, like a huge airship crashed in Europe.
Now, are we talking about like a Zeppelin? Are we talking about like what happened in Jersey?
Yeah.
The Jersey
Zeppelin? There's a video of it. Go watch this video.
So for
and it killed everybody on board. Yeah.
This is a different one, though. Yeah, this is a different one because
it's perhaps the most famous disaster ever recorded.
Get it started. It's right. It's terrible. Get out of the way, please. It's running.
When the Hindenburg fell to earth in a ball of fire in 1937, the world had a front row seat. But in 1930, no cameras were present to capture the disaster that befell the R-101 airship, which burst into flames in an equally spectacular fashion, killing 48 passengers and ending the British airship program. During the early 1900s, the majestic lighter-than-air dirigibles ruled the skies over Europe. While the airplane of the 1920s remained a work in progress, the airship was viewed as a sophisticated and efficient mode of air travel.
Airplanes were rickety and unreliable and noisy.
I just like that line, though, Professor. Airplanes were rickety.
Are rickety. Yeah.
So in school, when I was a kid, we took chemistry class. Did you take chemistry class by any chance?
I did, but it wasn't really my thing.
Well, no, this was the coolest experiment. We took a glass of water and we took like a battery and we took some test tubes and we took the electricity with the water and we split the water into oxygen and hydrogen. And then we lit the hydrogen and that's what happened to the Hindenburg.
Cool. That is.
Ba-boom.
All right.
Next.
The last one.
Yes.
And this one's a fun one, too, because one of my favorite bands of all time. In 1962, the Beatles released their first record, Love Me Do.
And what I'm going to do is scramble the crap out of this so that we don't get in trouble. You're not going to be able to hear it scrambled, but it will be.
50 years ago this week, something remarkable happened. 4 young men from Liverpool released a record that changed everything.
Come on, scramble this. I dig it. Today in history. This was a good one. I agree. Beatles Mania was huge. The only thing that was bigger than Beatles Mania was the backlash against Beatles Mania.
Thank you for watching this segment of the TP Show. Please follow us on Fruitlab. Don't forget we have a podcast on your favorite podcast app. This has been another installment of the TP Show.